how to take any friendly, platonic, indirect conversation and turn it into a more flirtatious, more man-to-woman vibe in these interactions. I want to lay out for you guys a couple mistakes I see men making when it comes to indirect conversation. And then I also want to talk about the actual structure that you should do so that no matter what conversation you're in, you could start it out indirect and friendly, but ultimately still make it flirty. All right, we were actually just out in Miami this whole day and we were filming a bunch of indirect approaches, opinion openers, asking for directions, and then transitioning those conversations as well as a bunch of direct approaches. So have this stuff fresh in my brain right now and I want to lay this out for you. So let's talk about the mistakes first. Biggest mistakes I see when it comes to indirect conversation, meaning maybe you made a comment about something in the environment, you asked the girl a question, you asked for directions, you asked her for her opinion on something. Maybe she's in your class and you get into conversation with her. It's an indirect conversation, right? The biggest mistake, there's two of them. The first of which is kind of a corny one. This is something I've seen a lot of these older pickup guys on YouTube. They would open asking for directions or asking for an opinion, and then they would very quickly just be like, honestly, I just wanted to come up to you because I actually thought you were cute. I was wondering if I could get your phone number. The only time I would recommend using this is if you're somebody who 100% cannot just go up and do a direct approach. Like, I could see it as a tool, as a stepping stone, as somebody who's trying to get out there and get more confident and comfortable with approaching, but you're not quite there yet. And so you use asking for directions as an easy stepping stone to approach. And then once you're in the conversation, you could be like, honestly, I just came up because I thought you were cute. Like, in that sense, as a tool, as a stepping stone, it's okay. But understand that if that's your whole game and then you're just going up and asking for a phone number, bro, that's never gonna convert. And in my opinion, that makes indirect approaching fucking cheesy, right? So that's mistake one. Mistake two with indirect interaction is guys have a tendency of getting into indirect conversations and then it just stays indirect. It just stays on a friendly level. Like, that's, if you're watching this and you've ever gotten into an indirect conversation with women and you're not good at flirting, that's probably you. You probably just stayed at that level the whole time. What's up, guys? What's going on? You want to show them really quick? We got the cute women in the. Tell them subscribe to Coach Kyle on YouTube. So if you've ever had like an indirect conversation with a woman and you weren't good at flirting, it probably just stayed on that friendly level. Right? And you never just transitioned. It would have been too big of a jump to just straight up ask her out at the end of it. And so the main mistake with friendly, platonic, indirect openers and approaches is that guys never transition. And then what ends up happening is they wait so long, it would almost be weird to ask for the number later on. So they either never do it or they do it later and it's creepy as fuck. Like, this was actually me. Before I learned any game, there was this Colombian girl, Lucy, that I was really into, and I spent the whole day with her. I just didn't know how to flirt. Like, we had a great vibe, and it was very fun and friendly, and there was clearly attraction there, but I didn't know how to fucking flirt. And so we spent the whole day, and when I went to say goodbye to her, I walked her to her car, and I just tried to flip the switch, man. I just lunged at her and tried to kiss her, and she laughed and kind of turned away and gave me the cheek, even though she was into me. Like, literally, she was into me, and we went on a whole day of a date, and it still didn't go well. And it's because I kept it at this very friendly, platonic, indirect conversation almost the whole day. And so now that we understand the two mistakes, let's talk about what we can actually do to fix this. So how do we do it the right way, Kyle? Well, let's say we do get into an indirect conversation. You either ask a girl for an opinion, you ask her for directions, maybe she's in your class or she's in the environment, you somehow get into a conversation with her, right? You make an observation, you give a compliment, you ask a question. My advice would be, have a little bit of conversation on that topic. Like, start to have 10 to 20 seconds of conversation about that topic. And then we want to slowly transition it. So the way you're going to do that is by not just abruptly going, "You're cute, can I get your number?" Like, that's fucking whack and abrupt. And honestly, even when I tried that, guys, like, we tried that today as an experiment, these women literally laughed at me and instantly just like moved away. because it's so abrupt. So instead, transition to going from indirect to making the interaction about her. Like, point out an observation that you notice about her. I think some of the easiest ones is like a unique item, her ethnicity, where she's from, does she live here? Like, those are very easy ways to pivot from whatever topic of conversation we were already in, right? Once you get the conversation to be about her, and we're talking about her, now you can start to transition into a little bit more intent, right? It shouldn't just be this abrupt 180, like, hey, you know where Starbucks is? By the way, you're cute. Like, that's a big jump. I would much rather say, oh, do you know where Starbucks is? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, what's your accent? I just noticed your accent. Where are you from? Or wait, what ethnicity are you, by the way? Or actually, wait, I just noticed your tattoo. That's actually pretty badass, right? Now we're talking about her. We talk a little bit. I could then transition into intent from there, right? And the way I would do that, let's say with any of these, I would say, yeah, it was interesting because honestly, before this, I just left my apartment. I was gonna walk my dog. I'm headed to Whole Foods right now, but then, you know, I saw this cute Colombian girl and I was like, let me go up and at least say hi to her. Or I saw this cute girl with the tattoos and I was like, damn, she's cute, but she might be too badass for me, honestly, I don't know. So I had to come over here and say hi. So you can inject that in later on. You start out indirect, talk about that topic, make it about her, and then later on you can sprinkle in some little flirty line while giving her context. Okay, that's a nice smooth transition. That's not gonna be so abrupt, but also it doesn't just stay platonic the whole fucking time and then you feel weird about getting her number later. So do these steps for a nice smooth transition. Now, listen guys, if you're somebody who's either stuck in the friend zone, you have really friendly platonic conversation, or you're not even approaching at all with these women and you know you're not at the level you could be, I'd love to help you make that transformation, okay? This is something I struggled with for a really long time. I made a big transformation over the last decade. I've coached over 1,000+ men at this point to make that same transformation, and I'd love for you to be next. Click the link down below, fill out an application for an opportunity to work with me directly. That's all for this video, guys. Peace out.